Hi there, Joyce at Delightful Quilting and Sewing, a quilting dealer in Avon, New York. Today I want to talk about pulling your bobbin thread and the importance of keeping that bobbin thread on the top of your quilt. And today I'm illustrating this on a Quilting Pro Series 24. And I have my machine threaded up here. This is just a sample that I have. And with the quilting machine, of course, we have a single stitch button right here, and with the Pro machine, when I press it one time, it'll take a full rotation so that I can pull up my bobbin thread. If you have a fun quilter, you'll need to press the single stitch button 2 times, one to take the needle down and one to bring the needle back up. So my quick way of getting my bobbin thread to the top might be a little different from what you do, and I call it flossing. I just hold my top thread like I'm going to floss my teeth between 2 fingers like this, my left hand and my right hand, and I just floss it underneath the hopping foot like that, and you can see that it pulls that bobbin thread right up. So it allows me to go ahead and sew. My bobbin thread is on the top. I'm just going to sew a little bit here. And when you stop sewing, you also need to bring your bobbin thread to the top. It's very important not to leave any bobbin thread on the back of your quilt. There was somebody that called me, and I discovered that they were reaching down underneath their quilt top on the frame, cutting the bobbin thread off because they didn't know how to bring the bobbin thread to the top. When you get done stitching and you're ready to pull your bobbin thread to the top, I move my machine about 10 inches away from where the thread came up, or where I stopped. I go back and I'm holding it in my left hand. I have a loop here in my left hand of my top thread. I'm going to take a single stitch and I'm going to move it away. And as you see, when I move it away, this is my top thread here, but this double thread right here is bobbin thread. It's very important to cut this bobbin thread back here, close to where the top is. And right now, that bobbin thread on the bottom is about this long right here, about 5 inches long, which is about what I need to pull up the next time. I end up with a little bit of thread in my hand, like this. That's all that's left over, and you can discard that. But here's my top thread, and my bobbin thread is down there. So I'm going to do it one more time. Single stitch, floss, pulls up my bobbin thread, and if you need to take a security stitch before you start, you can do that, and then you can start stitching. When you get done stitching, turn the machine off, move it away about 10 inches or so, hold on to the top thread. I hold it with my left hand, take a single stitch, pull it away. Here's the top thread, here's the bobbin thread, and cut it close to the top. Now the only difference in where you're cutting it is if you are going to be burying your stitches, and I'll cover that in a different video because that technique involves some hand stitching with a special needle, but it's cutting the bobbin thread in a little bit different position, but it doesn't leave any bobbin thread on the back. You want that bobbin thread left on the top so that you can bury it. So the reason why we do not want any bobbin thread or any threads of any kind left on the back of our quilt is because when they hang down like this, when the thread hangs down underneath the machine, whether it's the top thread or the bobbin thread, it's very easy for it to get swept up in the axle, the front axle on the carriage. And oftentimes, this happens, you don't even know about it, but it just goes right down there. It's caught from the back of the quilt, picked up right down here, and wraps around the axle very easily. So this is a place to check on a regular basis to make sure there's no thread that's caught in that axle. Now the other place would be if you... The other place is if you have Quilt Magic. And I had a bonus video last week of a used system that came in, and when I inspected it, right down here around this gear, that's the horizontal belt along the frame, there was a lot of thread wrapped around that gear. The only thing I can figure is the person that had it didn't cut their threads. They were always hanging down underneath the quilt, and very easy again for those threads just to get swept right in there, breaks off on the back of the quilt, and you don't even know or realize it, but it can restrict the movement of this gear. So important things, just a small thing really, and how to bring your bobbin thread to the top, but it saves a lot of time in the long run from trying to pull threads out of the axle or out of the gear on your quilt matching. So that's it for Tech Tuesday today. See you next week. In the meantime, happy quilting.